Okay, so now we're going to talk about math. If your student is working on identifying numbers 1 through 10. So what I've provided in your packet are these number cards. Okay, so it says what number is it, and it gives you a visual. This is number 1. So usually this goal is written, the student's going to identify the number with a visual aid. This is considered the visual aid. So when presented with a visual aid, the student is going to identify the number, a targeted number. So this will be the visual aid of the targeted number. We're looking for number 1. So what you're going to do, or what I do at school, is I show the card and I say, okay, we are looking for number 1, and I point to number 1. Sometimes I trace it with my finger. We're looking for number 1. Now the student has number 1 in front of them and number 3. So I keep them far enough apart, as I've said before, in case there's some double tapping or you're not really sure if they know the answer, if they're grasping at straws, if they're not really clear what you're expecting. So I show number 1. I don't put the number behind the number I'm looking for. I try not to do that. I do later on if it's apparent that they're really struggling or don't seem to understand what I'm looking for, I might do that as a different level of support, that yes, they needed a lot more help. And I would do that before I remove the choice number 3. Okay, so that might be one of the levels of support that I do if they're really struggling and they're just not getting it. So I might, okay, I would refer back to this. We're looking for number 1 and point to it. I do that a few times. If they're still not getting it, I might say looking for number 1 and kind of place it in the general area where their number 1 is located. If they absolutely give me a number 3, if they tap number 3 repeatedly, I might tell them, oh, not the same. Those are not the same. Those are different. Different. Not the same. I might give them, so those would be needing a lot of support. If you're having to move your visual towards the area where the correct answer is, if you're having to show that is not the same, those are not, try again, and put it, if they continually grasp at the 3 or point to the 3, I might remove the 3 altogether. And then when they take number 1, we're looking for 1, when they take number 1 and put it up there, reinforce that by saying, oh, look, they are the same. They are the same. This is 1 and this is 1. Where some students are just working on numbers 1 through 10. So that would be, really wasn't able to do it, needed a lot of support. If you were finding that that's how this math activity was going. Like I said, if they go right to it, then I would give them a number 1, that they needed very little support or they were independent. And if you just had to kind of continually remind, maybe they picked 3 one time and you said, try again. And then they were able to see, oh yeah, that's right. I grabbed the wrong one. I meant to grab 1. Then I would say that just needed a little support.